Okay, Kathy, whenever you're ready.
Okay, thank you. Okay, I'll call the meeting to order at 6:31 p.m. on May 13th. Okay, we have an agenda in front of us. So at first, I'd like to read the land acknowledgement. So the Township of Black River Matheson acknowledges the Apatipi Anishinaabeg Nation traditional territory. We live, play, and work here together, and together we shall build a strong and inclusive community. I'd also like to remind everyone at this time, all those in attendance, that council meetings are recorded and made available to the public on the township's website for review. I'd also like to make a statement. I made a similar statement at the special meeting on Friday, but for those who couldn't attend on Friday, I'll make the same statement. So as you know, or may know, the Minister of Municipal Affairs and Housing made an order on April 29th, 2024, declaring all the offices of the members of council to be vacant and required a by-election to fill these offices. So the order also appointed me, Kathy Horgan. I'm the manager of local government and housing for the Ministry of Municipal Affairs and Housing to exercise the duties and obligations of council as required under the new until the new council has taken office. This meeting is the second meeting held in accordance with my appointment under the order. The procedures followed for council meetings will be followed, but modified as necessary given various circumstances. Okay, so I just wanted to read that so we can I believe we have a resolution for confirmation of the agenda.
Yes, Madam Chair. So we have a resolution for the confirmation of the agenda and then a separate resolution to confirm that this meeting will be held virtually.
Okay.
So can I read the motion in relation to adopting the agenda as presented?
Yes, please.
Be it resolved that the agenda for the regular council meeting of May 13th, 2024 be approved as printed.
Approved.
And Madam Chair, can I read the motion in relation to exercising our rights under the Municipal Act to hold this meeting virtually?
Yes, please go ahead.
Whereas according to the minister's order dated April 26, 2024, the appointee shall exercise their duties and obligations under Section 3 of the order in accordance with the Township Procedural Bylaw 2020-07 and any other applicable requirements to the extent possible as council would exercise them, including holding a meeting or meetings. And whereas according to Section 2.22 of the Township Procedural Bylaw 2020-07, special meetings are not permitted to take place fully electronically. Therefore, be it resolved, in order for the minister appointee to conduct business in an expeditious manner, Section 2.22 is hereby waived, and all regular and special meetings of council shall be held electronically until the by-election is held and the members so elected have taken office.
I approve. Okay, next on the agenda is disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof. I have none. The adoption of the minutes. There are no minutes for this regular meeting, so we'll move on to the new business. So the first item under new business is a report from the CAO with respect to the budget guideline. So at this time, I do have a couple of questions.
Actually, Madam Chair, I'm going to
Yep.
interrupt you. So the first
Oh,
report is actually submitted by myself, the clerk treasurer. It's the
oh,
budget guideline
apologies.
report.
Yep. Sorry, apologies. It's submitted by the clerk treasurer, sorry. So typically, because would you read the resolution? Sorry, it's been a long time since I've been at council meeting. So, okay, can you please read the resolution and then I'll follow it up with some questions.
Yes, Madam Chair. That the minister appointee acknowledge the receipt of the budget guideline report CTM-2024-05 as per the municipal budget policy for the 2024 budget term, and that the minister appointee direct the treasurer to move forward with building the 2024 budget and subsequent years using the items in the corporate-wide assumptions and conditions listed in report CTM-2024-05. And finally, that the minister appointee directs the treasurer to continue to develop the 2024 municipal operating budget and include the following items. I left that blank.
Okay, thank you. So my first question is, so just to confirm, the purpose of this report is to initiate the 2024 budget process.
That is correct.
Okay. So I noted that in the report, staff is looking for direction in that final paragraph of the resolution. So having read through the report, I'd like the addition there in that blank to identify that the 2024 budget that I direct the treasurer to continue to develop the 2024 municipal operating budget and include items that are deemed critical for inclusion in the 2024 budget. So by adding that, my assumption is that the operating budget, along with the critical items that staff would bring forward in that budget, would then be brought forward in a budget document for consideration at a later date, correct?
Yes, so Madam Chair, sorry, I was writing as you were
Oh,
speaking.
sorry.
No, it's okay. So just to make sure I understood properly, that if there's anything critical you expect, like the budget policy that states that a separate report come to you explaining why we need that item added to the budget. Is that my understanding?
I know, I think it can be they can be included in the overall budget report. And then
Okay.
I would assume that in your budget report, you would identify, I don't think it has to be a separate report. It can just all be included in one
Yep,
report.
it can. And again, I'm just going to, just to make sure I get some clarity as the treasurer, critical. Definition of critical would be it affects the overall operations. I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page as what critical means.
Yeah, I think it would be anything that would impact the overall operations of the municipality and or for this fiscal, as well as any items that may have come to your attention that if they are delayed, there could be either financial or financial repercussions or potential risk to the municipality by not proceeding. So then if those are explained in the budget document, then during deliberations, those can be discussed and reviewed and voted on.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
And again, yes, Madam Chair, not trying to be difficult, just at
No,
times if
that's
it's clear.
we all got to be on the same page.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Madam Chair, I did include the deemed critical into the motion. I'm not sure if you would want me to reread the motion.
Yes, please, just for everybody.
Yes. That the minister appointee acknowledge the receipt of budget guideline report CTM-2024-05 as per the municipal budget policy for the 2024 budget term, and that the minister appointee direct the treasurer to move forward with building the 2024 budget and subsequent years using the items in the corporate-wide assumptions and conditions listed in report CTM-2024-05. And finally, that the minister appointee directs the treasurer to continue to develop the 2024 municipal operating budget and include the following items. Any item deemed critical should be included in the budget. A definition of critical would be anything that affects the overall operations of the municipality.
Okay, I approve. All right, moving on to the next report, 20-47, noted on the agenda. It's report from the CAO 2024-03. Read the resolution, please.
Yes, Madam Chair. Be it resolved that the minister appointee receive the budget forecasting 2024 trends report CAO 2024-03 as information.
Okay, one question. Again, like the previous report, I just want to confirm. So this is information being provided that would be considered or could be considered during the budget deliberations.
Yeah, Yes, Madam Chair, that's correct. The report is actually to provide some information to help guide council discussions on the budget. There are some parochial issues there, but there are also some wider issues. For example, things like the provision of internet and that type of thing that we need to keep an eye on. So it's meant to be looked at as a document that has overall influence on the budget. So it's taken into consideration when the budget's prepared.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I approve the report, or sorry, the resolution. All right, next on the agenda is notice of motion. There aren't any. Under reports, we have a notice of intent under section 6.3 of the Integrity Commissioner Protocol. Please read the resolution.
Yes, Madam Chair. Whereas Mr. Harold Elston, the Integrity Commissioner, has formally submitted an investigative report to the clerk for council review, adoption, and action. And whereas Section 6.3 of the Integrity Commissioner Protocol outlines the procedure for receiving such reports. Therefore, be it resolved that the minister appointee shall officially receive the investigative report during the regular council meeting scheduled for May 28th, 2024.
Okay, just one question, just again for clarity. So I understand that this notice is required to be given upon the receipt of the investigation report by the IC, and that it will be dealt with, or well, not dealt with, but it will be received by me at a later date.
Yes, and if I can, Madam Chair, so we do have an Integrity Commissioner protocol policy. In the policy, it states that we have to give council and the public notice that the report is coming. So it essentially it takes 2 meetings for the report to hit the agenda. This is the first meeting where we're giving the notice. The next meeting will actually have the report there as an agenda item.
Okay, thanks for clarifying that. Okay, I approve the resolution. Okay, then we move on to bylaws next on the agenda. So the bylaw listed here is bylaw 24-14, being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with IntelliVote Systems Incorporated. Please read the resolution.
That bylaw number 2024-14 being a bylaw to enter into an agreement with IntelliVote Systems Incorporated be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed this 13th day of May 2024.
Okay, before I approve that resolution, I do have some questions. So the first one is, can you advise when the decision to use the alternative voting method was made?
Yes, I can, Madam Chair. So that's a separate bylaw as opposed to tonight, because tonight it's just to pass a motion to pass a bylaw to go into an agreement with the provider. But the actual bylaw where council changed the method of voting to alternative votings with using internet and telephone, that was done in April of 2022. So that was one, as you know, Madam Chair, that's one of the requirements under the Municipal Elections Act that council has. That they can pass a bylaw to choose an alternative voting method for an upcoming election. And under the Municipal Elections Act and under our bylaw, it also states that whatever method was used for an election, it's the same method used for a by-election.
Okay.
So, sorry, Madam Chair, if I can.
Nope.
So this is not new to Black River Matheson, this method of voting. It was used for the 2022 elections. While there was a bit of hesitation when we first introduced it, a lot of the feedback was that it was very friendly, very user-friendly to adapt to. And there was many seniors that also reported that they found it much easier to use than what they thought it was going to be like, if I can just add that comment.
Okay, thank you for that information.
Mhm.
will in-person voting be available and how? And then a follow-up to that is there a process established for residents who may not have internet access or need assistance?
Yes, so under the Elections Act, we are supposed to have an accessibility protocol. Part of our accessibility protocol is we are going to have help stations set up for voters who are not comfortable, not familiar, or don't have access to a telephone or a computer to come to these help centers at our buildings that are accessible and get assistance to place their vote. So using telephone and internet voting is actually quite an inclusive experience because for one, we have property owners, not just in Black River Matheson, but everywhere else. And under the Elections Act, they have the right to vote. We are also in a mining area. So at times, depending on the dates, some of those electors are not here, but through telephone and internet voting, they can still place their ballots. And then, of course, there's the argument when we did have paper ballots that some residents, seniors and non-seniors, didn't have the transportation to get to polling stations. So this eliminates that. And if for whatever reason, nobody can make it to a help center, which will be actually set up at the municipal office, at the arena, and at the Rosedale Center, there will be a voter helpline that the voter can use in the comfort of their home for somebody to help them step by step to place their vote.
Okay, and that's in your accessibility plan, and I believe
It's in our accessibility plan. It's touched upon in our nomination package, and it's touched upon in our candidates package. And we also have telephone and internet voting policies and procedures that will be made available to the public shortly.
Okay, and when you say made available, that's on the municipality's website, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Or copies available at the township office.
Okay. So my last question is about the cost. So what's the projected cost of this particular contract, and how will it be funded?
Well, it's going to be funded with tax through the tax levy, through tax dollars, because this is obviously not something that we forecasted. So the taxpayers will see the increase in their levy with the 2024 budget. As of right now, the cost to hire IntelliVote, it's actually on a per elector basis, and they use the electors from the last election that took place. So we're looking at the 2022 elections and the eligible electors back in 2022. So we're looking at about $7,300 to use IntelliVote, and then to manage the electors list, the voters list, we have a program called DataFix, and DataFix, that's going to cost another $3,000. So right now we're looking at about $10,000 to put on the by-election. This does not include the hiring of staff and any other costs that we may to incur in order to make sure that our help centers are functioning properly.
Okay. I noted in I think it was the budget report where you indicated that one of the items that you needed to cover in this year's budget was 1/4 of the total cost of running the election, because I think the municipality budgets a little bit annually for it.
What that is actually, Madam Chair, is that's the cost of actually just holding our DataFix. So every year we actually just set aside, it's about $1,400 or so in relation to just holding our agreement with DataFix.
Okay. Okay, thanks for clarifying that. Okay, I have no further questions. So I'll approve that resolution now. Okay, according to the agenda, the next there is no unfinished business and no other business listed. So we will proceed to closed session now. Please read the resolution.
Be it resolved that the minister appointee now comes into a portion of the meeting that shall be closed to the public at 6:50 p.m. In accordance with section 239 subsection 2 of the Municipal Act, to discuss a personal identifiable individual, litigation or potential litigation regarding correspondence, legal opinion from Cunningham Swan and Dunsmore Law for resignation and employment. This is under section 239 subsection 2 clause B and E. And labor relations, employee negotiations, which is an overview update of negotiations with QP Local 1490. And this is under section 239 subsection 2, clause D.
I approve.
Okay, Madam Chair, so we'll just do some few arrangements and then I'll let you know when we can start discussing.